Alright, so today we're taking a bit of a different approach to the videos. I figured that it'd be nice to get on camera for some videos, just so you know who's behind the camera. It's kind of an important thing, I feel like. I'm not a fan of being on camera, but it's just more personable, so figured I'd do that. But today we're doing 5 do's and don'ts with ram cichlids, or I don't know the scientific name. So the first one we're going to do, and I think this is probably one of the most important for the do's, is keeping them above 80. So I have all of my ram tanks. I have my breeding tanks at 84 to 86, and then I have grow out at 82. And it's better to keep the fry actually around like 83, 84, but I keep them at 82 just because I have everything built in together. So the first thing with rams is you got to keep them warm. You can keep them at 78, 76, but they're just not going to do as well. The second thing that I'm going to recommend for the do's is finding good rams. And I did just post a video about this, talking about, a lot of people were complaining online just about rams. I saw a lot of comments and stuff about how fragile they were, not on my channel specifically, just on other channels and on Instagram and stuff. So I just wanted to be like, hey, they're not really like this. It's just when you get them from a bad source, and you don't keep them at the right temperature, you're just not going to find success with these guys. And then let's hop over to the don'ts. The big don't would be, let's see, what's my favorite one? Let's go feeding bloodworms. Don't feed bloodworms. They'll bloat 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10. Don't try it. Don't mess with it. So I don't know the scientific reason for this, but yeah, don't feed bloodworms to rams. I've seen numerous videos. I've never done it myself just because everybody tells you not to do it, so I didn't do it. But yeah, don't feed bloodworms. Another thing is don't keep 2 adult males together. Unless it's a really big tank, you really shouldn't keep males together. They're pretty feisty, so don't keep males together. And sorry, I'm writing all this down. I have scratch notes of what I think, but I'm also going off the head, and I want to remember this just for myself too. So let's keep on the don'ts because I see another good one. All rams are a bit different. The golds and the blues are pretty similar. Powder blues can be a little bit different. Genetically, especially their fry just aren't going to do as well from what I've seen. If you have 100 fry for gold and 100 make it, which doesn't happen, but just pretend it does, 80 are going to make it with powder blues. I don't know if other people have noticed that or not, but I see that powder blues their babies don't produce as well. It's better to just breed golds and blues, and when you get a powder blue, you get a powder blue. So yeah, there are differences, and then obviously I can't forget the black rams. A lot of people think that the black rams are more aggressive. Mine aren't. I feel like mine are all the same, but not only are you going to have the same fry issue, but even more difficult with the powders, it's going to be even worse. Also, when they're growing out, you're going to notice a lot of issues with fins and stuff. You're just going to have to cull a lot more with the powder blues and the black rams just because they're not as genetically stable as the German blues or the golds. They just haven't been around as long, from what I know. I'm just actually assuming that. I don't really know. So yeah, you're going to see issues between genetics either way. But just know that with powder blues and black rams, they have a little bit more issues, in my experience. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just what I've noticed. Back to the do's. Absolutely keep a low TDS. A lot of the times it doesn't matter, but these fish are picky. These fish are really picky, and that's why breeding them is so so fun is because there are a lot of things that you have to check off. One of them is keeping the TDS low and the pH low. pH 6.5 to 7 is fine. Nothing's really specific, but I like to keep the TDS under 150 for breeding purposes especially. But I mean, you can keep them at 300, 400, 800. I mean, the TDS doesn't exactly matter, but for breeding purposes, you want to keep that lower. Let's see. Oh, another do. Feed live and frozen. Preferably live. Baby brine shrimp is, you don't really have to feed anything else other than baby brine shrimp. I like to switch up my foods. Let's see, what do I use right now? I have like a mixture of stuff in a mason jar. You can't really see that. It's 3 different foods. One of them I don't think I have. Like, I put it all in the mason jar and threw the bag away. But I use these. I like both these companies, Hikari and Bug Bites. And I am in the States, so there's certain things that might be a bit different depending on where you're located. And let's do the last do before we switch back over, and that is use nice lighting. And as I say that, I have these not lit with any light, but that's because, well, that's because they're not for show. Even though they do still look great from the natural light, if you want to see the rams better with your eyes, you have to use good light. And when I mean good light, I don't mean bright light. Brighter is not always better. Just good lighting is just going to make it more enjoyable for you. Not the fish care. The fish don't care whatsoever. But and then don't. This last 2 don'ts. This is kind of a big one for. I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but don't keep high flow. You can, but they just hate it. They really don't like high flow. So simple as that. Don't be blowing your rams around because they won't do well. And last one is, and this is a big one. Don't see a ram in the store or see a pair of rams maybe online or in store and think that you're going to be able to save them if they're in bad condition. So I've done this before. I didn't want to order black rams online because I didn't know who to order from. So I just waited. I went to like a random store and I found some. They were in horrible condition. They were ripped to pieces basically. All messed up eyes and all kinds of stuff, which is the bad rap that rams get because of those kinds of situations. And I bought 2 of them. And I was like, oh, I got a male and a female. And they didn't even make it a week. I went back and said, hey. And luckily the store gave me another 2. But it didn't matter because those guys didn't make it either. And 3 weeks later, I ordered online, put those fish in the same tank, and they did great. So it's just all about sourcing good rams. I know I've been hammering that a lot lately. But yeah, if you see like a sick or beat up ram in store, online, wherever, don't buy them. Don't think that you're going to be able to, maybe I'll get a spawn out of them and start, don't do none of that. Because once a ram goes down, it's not coming back up 99% of the time. If you see a sick ram, like I do in grow out, fish will start to get dull, and you can see that pretty easily, and they'll start to kind of bloat or whatever. In those first like month, 2 months, you can see it if they're going to make it or not, because maybe something's wrong inside of them, just because of the way they're born or just certain stuff that just doesn't click. They're not going to make it. So I've gotten to the point where I've just kind of euthanized them before I knew that they were going to suffer for a few days. I forget what the gel is called, but you basically put them in this, like, not gel, but it's like this little water. Basically just like puts them to sleep and takes them away. So yeah, just if you see them getting white, I don't have any right now to show you guys, which is a good thing. But yeah, fish, sometimes the rams, you can see them, they have 30 and 1 or 2 of them get dull and something internally is wrong or even externally, and they're getting out competed for food. They're just not going to make it. And that's kind of a hard part, because with a lot of fish, if there's a runt or something, you can kind of lift it up. But because the rams and the way they are, they're just not going to make it. They're too genetically fragile, not fragile, genetically fragile, and if something's wrong within those first 2 months of growing, they're just not going to make it. So don't try to save rams. I know it's a whole thing with betas, and that's totally works. I've done that a whole bunch, where you take a beta that's like gray and from PetSmart, and you know what I mean, and you grow them out, and they look great, but that's not the rams. Don't do that with rams. I can't say for any other fish that I've noticed the same thing. But yeah, rams is one fish that's like that I've kept. I'm sure there's other fish out there, but rams are just not going to make it. So don't try and save them. I know it sounds kind of harsh, but if a ram looks sick, don't waste your money, and don't pull all the heartstrings and get all disappointed about rams because you got impatient and bought poor quality. It's just not worth it. So thank you guys for watching. This is the fish room, and I love this kind of stuff.